It's a ridiculous day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast has experienced another leak, this time of the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons Secret Lair. On top of that, we have a crazy new Planeswalker card that just got revealed, and that's not even everything we're going to talk about today.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered to take a look at some absolutely wacky magic cards. So, as I mentioned, Wizards of the Coast has had another leak. This one was located in Singapore and it was quickly taken down. But looking it over, it feels very strongly that this is genuine and these are the real deal cards. Wizards of the Coast making a secret lair for these cards makes perfect sense. The movie just came out. I haven't had the time to see it yet, but the cards are very, very interesting. So we're going to take a look at those. We also have a brand new Planeswalker card that is really cool and also central to the story of March of the Machines. And then we're going to finish up with a little more Secret Lair specialness at the end. So essentially, it's a Secret Lair sandwich. Time to take your first bite. The first card from our leak has a tongue twister for a name. It's Edgin Larcenist Lutenist. So I haven't seen the movie yet. I haven't had time. And that means we're going to be judging the cards purely on how they transmit their concept without any additional information from the movie. So, Edgin is 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 for a 3/3 legendary bard. And a bard is a fun class in Dungeons and Dragons that melds magical abilities and thieving skills, giving you a bit of both to create fun, roguish, or heroic characters depending on the way you want to use them. This one seems more roguish to me. The name indicates that, right? Larcenist, Lutenist. Larceny is taking people's stuff. Lutenist is jamming down on the loot, and also it is a hilarious way to put it in the name. So, first ability on this card gives all of your non-land cards in your hand that don't have foretell the foretell ability. And the foretell cost is equal to the mana cost reduced by 2. So it's not going to make your spells cheaper, but it can let you cast them earlier. If you had a 7 casting cost spell but only had 5 lands, you could pay 2, put this aside, and then the turn later, you're going to be able to cast it for that 5 mana because it's reduced by 2. And on top of that, foretelling does remove cards from your hand and has them sitting in exile ready to go. So it does give you extra room to hold cards and protect them from discard as well. And then the flavor concept perhaps is this guy can see the future or predict it with his music. I'm not 100% sure about that. I don't know how foretelling. Does he just proclaim everything that's going to happen in advance and he gets an advantage from it? The second part of the ability feels more clear, right? Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, goad target creature an opponent controls. So I feel like that could fall into either category. You could either go, well, the larcenist side of things, where he's goaded the opponent by literally stealing their stuff, or he plays music that mocks the opponent or is so bad that they feel compelled to attack him. Either way, it's a fun concept. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the very odd feeling of the artwork, and that is when you take it for what it is, just a rogue adventurer, absolutely looks like a bard and a dashing one, right? He is looking prominent, powerful, and like he might just take your wallet and then play a little ditty as he ran away with it. Like, it's a good vibe, but it's Chris Pine, and he is like a well-known actor. And when they made the Walking Dead Secret Lair, we did have like a television show brought into the game, but the television actors weren't nearly as prominent as these movie actors. And this effect is even way more compounded for me in particular when we get to another card that has an actor that I've seen in way more movies than Chris Pine. But it is a little bit weird to see actual real world movie stars depicted on genuine magic cards. But overall, as a bard concept, this is really cool. After that, we've got Doric Nature's Warden. 1 green and 3 gets you a 3/3 Tiefling Druid. She has Vigilance. When she enters the battlefield, search your library for a forest card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And when she attacks, you can pay a green and 1 if you do transform her. I like this straight out the gates for the fact that it goes and gets you a land off of it, and the fact that it doesn't have to be a basic forest. So you can grab souped up forest versions and things like that. But, you know what I mean? 4 mana for 3/3 doesn't feel that great. You got to pay 2 mana to flip her. But when she flips out, boy, Doric the Owlbear Avenger. Look at that beefy owlbear coming to get you. 6/6 Vigilance, Trample. Those are some fat numbers. When this creature transforms into Doric, other legendary creatures you control get, or when it turns into the Owlbear Avenger, they get +2/+2 all your other legendaries and gain Trample until end of turn. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you transform back. So you have to keep paying 2 mana to swap into this. You're not really going to be able to benefit from it full time, essentially, which does make me go, I mean, for 4 mana plus the extra 2, it's cool, but it definitely doesn't feel powerful. Definitely has some nice flavor to it. And the owlbear does look pretty funky. After that, we've got Simon, Wild Magic Sorcerer. I don't know about you guys. Everybody's different. When it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, we're all drawn to different things. But for me, I always want magic. So a lot of the time, I find myself as a wizard, right? Some kind of spellcaster. And every once in a while, to get crazy, you go with wild magic. And wild magic is literally that. It is chaotic magic that is not really able to be controlled. You can kind of roughly control the raw energies, hoping for a result, but you can't really guarantee the result. It's essentially like you're a walking, like, Wand of Wonder or something. So Wand of Wonder was a really fun artifact that you could get. Not artifact, right? Just magic item. Artifacts are way more powerful than that. But Wand of Wonder is a pretty funky little piece of gear you could find that would just cause crazy effects. Sometimes it would help you, hey, and then other times it'd be like, oops, the earth opened up and like worms are coming out to attack me. Other times it would just make twigs grow out of your head. Like, just random silliness. And that appeals to me. So wild magic is a lot of fun, but unreliable. You can definitely end up with effects you do not want. You can end up with effects that increase the potency of your enemies, right? And so the concept here is Simon, 1 blue and 2 for a 1/1 human elf shaman. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or greater, roll a d20. And it does feel weird to see an elf shaman that's mono blue, right? It feels like, wouldn't that be sort of a, like, the dominance of green and red only with maybe some black? I feel like blue is a far cry from it, because normally we get wizards that are focused on intellect. But whatever, that's a minor quibble. Now, the ability is, again, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or greater, you roll a 20-sider. 1 to 9, each player draws a card. I hate this. I hate it. I do not like these symmetrical, you benefit, I benefit. I'm not interested in learning to wield magic that helps you. I'm interested in learning to wield magic that destroys you. I never want to give you help. Like, I get that you can build decks around it, and there are ways to benefit from it, but I absolutely do not want to give you a card draw, which makes this card work better from a flavor standpoint, because with wild magic, like I said, it can go horribly wrong. And the idea of me summoning this sorcerer up, help me, Simon, and he's like, I will, and he thrusts his staff up in the air, and it's like, ba 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 ba, and the magic flares, and I can see my, like, opponent planeswalker just going, I feel more power. Simon, what are you doing? Don't help him, you idiot. I know you're helping me, but don't help my opponent at the same time. Now, that being said, the odds are better that Simon will help you. You have a 10 to 19 roll where just you draw a card. So there's just a higher chance of that. Plus, if you get 20, then you copy the spell and you can choose new targets. So a fat 20 roll, which feels great as well, from that's the ultimate success roll in Dungeons and Dragons. So it fits that way too. I love that flavor. This is a really cool flavor concept that I would absolutely never play with, because there is no chance that I'm rolling 1 to 9 and giving you a card. That ain't happening. Now, I mean, you look in terms of the artwork, it's like, okay, he looks like a wizard. He does not look like an elf at all. I expect elves to have pointy ears, straight up. Where are your elf ears, bro? Begone from my sight, non-elf! Oh, he's not, wait, it says human elf. Oh, he's a half-elf! He's a half-elf! Okay, a little slow on the uptake, guys. Sorry about that. Never mind. Ears are forgiven, Simon, but letting other people draw is not. Moving on. We got Forge Neverwinter Charlatan. This card is nutty. 1 black and 3 for a 2/4 with menace. It's got ward, sacrifice a creature. Forge Neverwinter Charlatan gets +2/+0 for each treasure you control. Whenever one or more players sack one or more creatures, you create a tapped treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. This gives the idea of a hardcore evil thief, like rogue character in Dungeons and Dragons, focused on getting treasure, willing to put other people in their way. The whole ward, sacrifice a creature, it's going to cost you. Maybe that's not exactly putting other people in their way, but man, it's awesome that he gets +2 power for every treasure you have out. And whenever somebody loses a creature, you gain treasure. He's profiting off everybody's end. But the artwork, it's Hugh Grant's face. It messes with me, man. Like, I've been alive for a long time, and I watched a bunch of movies where Hugh Grant is this like charming English bumbler who's like, "Hail, Mini Driver, let me charm you with my fumbling ways. I'm so handsome and sophisticated, but also I need a woman's touch to help calm me." You know what I mean? Like, so to see his face there, like with the crossbow slung casually over his shoulder in his golden coat, and like he's focused on people dying to get treasure. It's just such a disconnect from the like prim and proper Englishman movies that my mind associates with him, that this card screams like, this, it's not real. I can't accept this as being real. This is some weird like AI fan-made card. Like when I first saw them, I thought that. I was like, are these AI fakes or something? But you look and you're like, no, there's the hands. The hands definitely are not AI hands, where they're weird melty monstrosities, or that one where Batman's hand was actually like a pirate's hook. AI artwork is hilarious, but it makes perfect sense for Wizards to be making a secret layer like this to tie in with the D&D stuff. So, I mean, even though this is a leak, I expect we're going to see the official announcement very soon, and it might even have happened by the time this video releases. So quickly, let's get to the next card. Holga, Relentless Rager. Your face don't look relentless. You look mildly confused. Where's the washroom? All right, 2 red and 4 get you a 4/6 legendary human barbarian with haste. Holga must be blocked if able. You must hold me. Whenever a Holga attacks, each creature you control attacking a player gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each creature that player controls. When I read this at first, I went, boring. It's just another one of those, I get beefier for however many creatures I have. And then my brain went, whoa, no, back up. This one punishes your opponent for how many creatures they have. So if they have a bunch of creatures out, oh, you have 6 dudes out? Great. All my guys have +6 power. Like, that is nutty. That is some solid power. I feel like this card might be, at first glance, but then when you see it in practice and realize it hits the board, swings as soon as it hits the board, has to be blocked, and is going to give a bonus to every one of your other creatures unless your opponent's board is empty, there's something going on here. This is not just a toss away concept to me, right? Flavor wise, you got a barbarian running in, a relentless rager. Okay, there's flame magic. It feels pretty stock standard, honestly. This feels like I could see it on like a 3/2 whatever first strike barbarian from a Kaldheim set. Like, there is nothing really striking about this card to me visually, flavor wise. So we're just gonna move on to the next card. And that's Zenk Paladin Unbroken. 2 white and 2 for a 2/4 human knight with Double Strike. Double Strike's such an awesome ability. And I am personal friends with the man who invented that ability, which is a fun little side note. Now, the second ability on Zenk is auras you control have exalted. This is a really, really funky way to do things. Every single enchantment that you have that enchants something, a creature, equipment, whatever it is, all gain the ability Exalted. And Exalted is, whenever a creature you control attacks by itself, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each instance of Exalted among permanents you control. So basically, every aura that you have out is going to give, if you attack with one creature, that creature is going to get +X/+X or for all the Exalted that you have. It gets dumb. You're just going to get to boost up. And the fact that he has Double Strike means he's going to swing in hard. This totally has a Paladin vibe to me, man. He's got what looks like holy armor there. He's drawing his sword out. I always found Paladins to be an incredibly difficult class to roleplay properly because they have such incredible strictures on them, right? Like, they're lawful good to the utmost degree. I remember having to leave my armor behind in place of a horde. Like, there was all kinds of things you had to do to get where you needed to be and do what you needed to do that added to the difficulty of being that type of hero. Paladins are really cool, and part of that is how difficult they were to play. I don't know if the new rules are different. It's changed, but either way, I really dig the vibe of Paladins. Moving on, we're going to talk about the March of the Machine spoiler, and this is a big story spoiler, friends. So I'm covering the story over on Fantasy Geographic. This is going to jump ahead a couple episodes, so if you don't want to have that spoiled, this is your opportunity to bounce right now. 3, 2, 1. Elspeth is a full-on archangel now. Feast your eyes, friendos. Norn is in big trouble because, I mean, this is a fat angel. What are you gonna do? What are you supposed to do when you're already, like, you're terrified of Elspeth? Because Norn is. She's terrified of Elspeth, and now Elspeth is a full-on archangel. She can even fly at you. Anyways, 2 white and 2, 4 loyalty planeswalker, +1 ability, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. -2, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types and gains flying. -6, return all non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is really solid and honestly feels very much like Elspeth. The whole making 1/1 soldier tokens, we've seen her do that since the very beginning, since she showed up. Boosting creatures up, she had another ability on a previous iteration that gave +3/+3 to a creature and gave it flying. But this one isn't just until end of turn. This is 2 permanent +1/+1 counters and infuses angelic essence into them, making them an angel. She can essentially birth an army of angels, and that is going to be anathema to Phyrexia, right? And then the -6 being like basically mass resurrection of fallen troops. So this represents an insane moment in the story. And I do want to say on multiple levels. First of all, I love her blade. It looks super angelic. But the whole fact that Wizards of the Coast chose to reveal this mid-story. Wizards is putting more of a focus on the lore. And this spoiler card was actually nestled into the story when Elspeth showed up in this form. So they gave you the full blown up artwork, but the actual spoiler card as well. And I think this is a really solid move, right? Because they need to spend more time and attention on the lore. And this shows, along with the podcast that they're doing, that they're willing to devote more resources to it. So I'm super happy about that. And speaking of super happy, let's talk about the other secret layer craziness that I was mentioning now that we're done talking about Elspeth.
I said we were going to end off with some secret layer specialness, and here we are. I have the store exclusive secret layer. These were only sent out to LGSs, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to record cracking it open. So I'm going to do that
over on my other channel. I'll leave a link here on the screen if you want to go and check it out, and a link to the March of the Machine lore, so you can choose your own adventure. We will be together regardless of your choice. Big shout out to my patrons. Thank you very much for supporting my channel, and I will see you all, my friends, for the next video.